Before the miracles, before the kingdoms fell, there were stories of giants and kings, of storms, fire, and faith that never broke. They weren't just stories, they were battles for the soul. 10 legends, one playlist, an animated journey through the greatest moments of faith. This is the Bible like you've never seen it. Watch now, subscribe, and let the stories live again.
David and Goliath, a boy who faced a giant.
In a time when the fate of nations rested on the courage of warriors, when one man could decide the destiny of thousands, a giant stood tall. But it wasn't his height that shook the people, it was fear. And then, a boy stepped forward, a shepherd, a singer, but more than anything, a believer. This is not just a story about a fight. This is about faith that conquers fear. In the valley of Elah, two armies faced each other. The Israelites, afraid, weary; the Philistines, confident, laughing. But from their ranks emerged a terror. Goliath of Gath, over 9 feet tall, coated in bronze armor, his spear like a weaver's beam. Goliath's voice boomed across the battlefield, striking fear into the hearts of his enemies.
I am Goliath. Send me a man. If he defeats me, we will be your servants. But if I win, you will serve us.
He came out every day, morning and night, 40 days, 40 nights, and Israel said nothing. Meanwhile, far from the front lines, a young shepherd named David was tending sheep. He sang psalms, protected flocks, trusted God. One day, his father said,
Take this food to your brothers at the front lines. Check on them. See how they are doing, and bring back word of their well-being.
Yes, Father.
David walked with a light heart, carrying food for his brothers. But as he reached the camp, the joy faded. Something wasn't right.
Who is this uncircumcised Philistine that defies the armies of the living God?
Go home, boy. This isn't a place for harps and hymns. But David wasn't afraid. He had faced danger before. A lion once snatched a sheep. He fought and won. A bear came and he drove it away. David knew the battle isn't won by size, but by faith. Word spread, a boy wants to fight the giant. And so David was brought before the king.
You're just a youth. He's been a fighter all his life.
David stood tall, unshaken, ready to speak, not from pride, but from faith.
When a lion came for my sheep, I struck it down. When a bear tried, I stopped it. The Lord who delivered me from them will deliver me from this Philistine.
Saul, desperate for hope, agreed. He offered armor, but it was too heavy. So David went down with only a sling and 5 smooth stones from a nearby brook. The valley grew quiet. One boy stepped forward, alone.
What is this? Am I a dog that you come at me with sticks?
David stepped forward, fire in his eyes, then shouting back, he answered the giant.
You come at me with sword and spear, but I come in the name of the Lord of hosts, whom you have defied.
One stone, one shot, right between the eyes. Goliath stumbles, then crashes to the ground. Dust rises. Silence, then roar from Israelites. The Philistines turned and fled. The Israelites chased, emboldened, but more than a military victory, a spiritual one was won. David didn't win because he was strong. He wasn't trained, armored, or experienced. He won because he believed. When others saw a boy, God saw a warrior. When a nation cowered in fear, one heart stood in faith.
Next, the story of Esther, a queen who saved a nation.
In the Grand Persian Empire lived a humble Jewish girl named Hadassah, better known as Esther. Orphaned young, she was raised by her cousin, Mordecai, a kind and wise man. Despite her struggles, Esther was beautiful, not just in looks, but in heart. Keep your faith, Hadassah, Mordecai would say. God has a plan for you, even if we don't see it yet. Meanwhile, in the royal palace, King Xerxes was not a happy man. His queen, Vashti, had defied him, and now he needed a new queen. So, a royal search began. Young women from across the empire were brought to the palace, including Esther. Imagine, a quiet girl from a hidden people, now among royal beauty treatments and palace gossip. Mordecai warned her, "Don't tell them you're Jewish, not yet." Esther obeyed. She was respectful, graceful, and won everyone's heart. And guess what? She was chosen. Esther became Queen of Persia. But this was just the beginning. Then came Haman, a man of power, a man of pride. But behind the robes and titles was a heart filled with hatred. Why? Because one man, Mordecai, refused to bow to him. Insulted and enraged, Haman plotted more than revenge. He wanted an entire people erased. So a decree was sent out. On the 13th day of Adar, every Jew in the empire would be destroyed. Esther was distressed after hearing the news from a servant. Mordecai sent a message to Esther. "You must go to the king and beg for our lives." But going to the king without being summoned was dangerous. It could mean death. Esther trembled, afraid. But then, something changed. She replied, "If I perish, I perish." She asked all Jews to fast with her for 3 days. Now that's courage. Esther, dressed in her royal robes, heart pounding, walked slowly toward the king's throne. She stopped at the entrance of the palace court and waited. Would the king raise his golden scepter or sentence her to death? king looks up, silence, then smiles and lifts his scepter. She was safe. She invited the king and Haman to a feast, and then another feast.
If it pleases the king, let the king and Haman come today to the banquet I have prepared.
Bring Haman at once, so we may do as Esther asks.
Later at the feast, Esther speaks again, humbly.
O king, someone has plotted to destroy me and my people.
What? Who would dare do something like that?
This wicked man, Haman.
The king was furious and storms out of the room into the palace garden. Haman is terrified and begins to beg Esther for his life. In his desperation, he throws himself onto the couch where Esther is reclining, just as the king returns. The king sees this and says,
Will he even assault the queen while she is with me in the house?
and that seals Haman's fate. And so, the king's judgment was swift. Guards seized Haman and dragged him away. Esther stood beside the king, no longer silent, no longer afraid.
Born in silence, hidden away, a girl with dreams who learned to pray. An orphan heart, yet royalty's grace. She rose with courage to take her place.
The gallows Haman built for Mordecai became his own end, and Mordecai was promoted for all to see.
God called her out, he knew her name.
The Jews rejoiced. The day meant for death became a day of deliverance. Esther didn't just save lives, she fulfilled her purpose.
Born in silence, hidden away, a girl with dreams who learned to pray. An orphan heart, yet royalty's grace. She rose with courage to take her place. For such a time as this she stood.
Next, the story of Jonah, swallowed by a fish, saved by mercy.
He ran from purpose. He ran from the voice of God. But destiny doesn't take no for an answer. This is Jonah, a prophet, chosen to deliver a warning to Nineveh, a wicked city drowning in sin. But instead of obeying, Jonah fled. He thought he could outrun God, but you can't hide from a mission written into your soul. The ocean roared with fury. Waves crashed like giants against the trembling ship. Sailors shouted, tossing cargo, desperate to stay afloat. But below deck, one man slept, Jonah, as the storm raged outside, until a blinding flash. Lightning struck the mast with a deafening crack. The ship groaned. The storm screamed. Jonah's eyes snapped open. Footsteps pounded down the stairs.
Pray to your God. Maybe he'll save us.
Jonah said nothing, but in his silence, he knew this was his doing.
This storm, it's because of me. Throw me into the sea.
With the storm raging and fear thick in the air, Jonah looked them in the eye, not with anger, but surrender. He wasn't trying to escape the sea. He was finally facing the truth, and with trembling hands, they let him go. As the waves raged and the sailors cried out, they cast Jonah into the deep, and the sea grew calm. Then came a great fish, sent by God, and it swallowed Jonah whole. Jonah was swallowed, not by punishment, but by mercy. In the deep, wrapped in darkness, Jonah sat still, surrounded by silence, yet not forgotten. Cold and trembling, he draws a breath, and his voice quivers as he begins to pray.
Out of the belly of Sheol I cried, and you heard me. I will fulfill my vows.
"3 days in the belly of the deep, silent, still, surrendered. Then the command comes. The great fish breaches, vomiting Jonah onto dry land, gasping, coughing, reborn. Now, a lone figure walks toward Nineveh, wind at his back, as the sun rises on mercy and mission. God didn't give up on Jonah. He doesn't give up on you.
People of Nineveh, hear the word of the Lord. In 40 days, this great city will be overthrown. Turn from your evil ways, abandon your violence, and seek his mercy while there is still time.
Jonah warned the people of Nineveh that God would destroy the city in 40 days. Everyone got scared and wanted to do the right thing. They stopped being mean, stopped hurting others, and prayed to God for forgiveness. Even the king got off his throne, put on rough clothes, and sat in ashes to show he was sorry. God saw their hearts had changed, and he forgave them. He didn't destroy the city, because they truly turned back to him. Your calling won't always be easy, but it's always worth it. You were made for a purpose. Even when you run, God runs after you.
He ran from the call, set sail on the sea. Thought he could hide, thought he was free. But storms rolled in and the waves got loud, till he hit the water, lost in the crowd. You can't run from love, you can't hide from grace. Even in the deep, you're never out of place. When the world goes dark and the fear kicks in, that's when the second chances begin. Down in a fishy room, he prayed out loud from that underwater tomb. God heard his cry, said, I'm not through. Jonah, I still have plans for you. 3 days down in a fishy room, he prayed out loud from that underwater tomb. God heard his cry, said, I'm not through. Jonah, I still have plans for you. You can't run from love, you can't run from light. Even in the belly, he's making it right. So when you mess up or feel far gone, just turn around and carry on. and carry on.
Next, the story of Noah, who built an ark before the storm came.
Long, long ago, the world was broken. People had turned away from God. Violence filled the earth. Lies, pride, cruelty, it was everywhere. God, the Creator, looked upon his creation, and his heart was grieved. The Lord saw how great the wickedness of the human race had become. Violence, pride, cruelty, it was everywhere. But in the midst of all the darkness, one man stood out, like a candle in the night. Meet Noah, farmer, family man, God's friend. In a world gone wild, Noah walked with God. He was a righteous man, blameless among the people of his time. So, God gave him an impossible task. Noah stands alone outside his tent. Suddenly, a radiant figure emerges from the light, shaped like a man, glowing with golden fire. Noah trembles, not from fear, but awe. Then a deep, eternal voice speaks.
Build an ark, a giant boat. I'm sending a flood to wash the earth clean, but you and the animals will be saved.
Noah picked up his tools and began. With every swing of the axe, every plank laid, his sons stood by his side. Together, they built, by faith, not sight.
Loving the story so far? Don't forget to hit that like button and subscribe for more epic Bible tales. Now, back to the adventure.
But while Noah built, the people laughed.
Noah, you've completely lost your mind. Building a giant boat in the middle of nowhere? Have you gone mad?
A flood? It hasn't rained in months. The sky's been clear, the ground's dry. Noah, there's no flood coming. You're chasing shadows.
That boat is bigger than a stadium. What are you building, Noah? A floating city?
Noah kept building. 120 years of hard work, faith, and obedience. Why build the ark? Because God was giving humanity a second chance through judgment and mercy. And then it began. From every corner of the earth they came, 2 by 2, great and small, wild and tame, lions and lambs, eagles and ants, elephants, snakes, giraffes, bears, each guided by the unseen hand of God. No chaos, no fear, just obedience. One by one, they entered the ark, as heaven watched in silence. When the ark was ready, Noah, his wife, his sons, and their wives entered. 2 of every animal, 7 of some. And then, God himself shut the door. The skies darkened, thunder roared, lightning flashed. The storm was here. The storm was no longer coming. It had begun. It began with a drop, then a downpour. The skies opened. The earth broke. Waters rose with fury, and the flood swallowed everything beneath it. It rained for 40 days and 40 nights. The earth was covered. Nothing survived outside the ark. Noah waited and waited. For months, the ark floated. No land, no word from God, just faith. After months of silence, no voice, no sign, just water. But then, God remembered Noah. The sun broke through, the waters began to fall, the ark rested, and hope rose again. "Oh, see if the waters had truly gone," Noah released a dove, but it found no place to rest and returned to him. He waited, then sent it out again. This time, it came back with an olive leaf, a sign of life, of mercy, of a world being reborn. One last time, he opened the hatch and let the dove fly, and it did not return. The flood was over. A new beginning had arrived.
I have set my rainbow in the clouds. Never again will the waters become a flood to destroy all life.
The rainbow is a promise, a covenant, not just of no more floods, but of mercy, faithfulness, and second chances.
One man walked with him all alone. He said to Noah, "Build a boat for me. Do what I say, and your family will be free." Noah built the ark, obeyed God's voice. He followed the command, he made the right choice. The rains came down, but Noah stood strong. The ark of salvation kept him safe.
Next, the story of Elijah who called fire from heaven.
Once upon a very dry time in Israel, there was a king named Ahab. And let's just say, he wasn't exactly on God's good side. He married a queen named Jezebel, who brought in all kinds of fake gods, especially a thunder god named Baal. But guess what? There hadn't been a single drop of rain in 3 whole years. The land was thirsty, people were desperate, and King Ahab was cranky. Here comes our hero, Elijah, bearded, bold, and on a divine mission, God's no-nonsense messenger.
It's time to show Israel who the real God is, not by crowds or empty chants, but by truth and boldness. Today, the choice becomes clear.
Elijah stood tall and raised his hand, not in fear, not in anger, but with bold confidence. His voice would soon cut through the confusion, calling the people to choose. The time for silence was over.
How long will you sit on the fence? If the Lord is God, follow him. But if Baal is real, then follow him. You can't serve both. Make your choice today.
The crowd went silent, so Elijah gave them a challenge.
Let's have a fire contest. We each prepare a sacrifice, but we won't light it, we'll pray. And the God who answers by fire, he is the real God.
Everyone gasped. This was serious. The people agreed. Let the God who answers by fire be God. The prophets of Baal got loud, really loud. They shouted, they danced, they even cut themselves.
Oh, Baal, hear us. Light this altar. Show your power before this crowd. Answer us, mighty one. Do not stay silent.
But nothing happened. Not a spark, not a flicker of flame, not even a single breath of smoke. Their cries echoed into the silence, unanswered.
Loving the story so far? Don't forget to hit that like button and subscribe for more epic Bible tales. Now, back to the adventure.
Shout louder. Maybe he's deep in thought, or maybe Baal's sleeping or on vacation or using the bathroom.
All day they tried. No fire, no answer. Baal was, well, silent. Because fake gods can't do real things.
On a mountain high, in a land so dry, the people were torn, they couldn't decide. For 50 prophets called Baal by name, but silence was all that came.
Fill those jars with water and pour it over the offering and the wood. Go again and again. Let it run down and fill the trench so everyone will see this is all God.
Let's build 2 altars and call on.
Wait, what? Water? Not once, not twice, but 3 times they soaked the altar until the trench around it filled up. It was wetter than a soaked sponge in a bathtub during a rainstorm. Impossible to burn, or so it seemed. The crowd fell silent. Elijah stepped forward, calm and unwavering. All eyes were on him, and then he lifted his voice to the heavens.
Lord God of Abraham, Isaac, and Israel, let it be known today that you are God in Israel. Answer me, Lord, so these people will know you alone are God.
He's holy and strong, not made of stone, not silence or gone. The Lord that answers by fire is God. The prophets of Baal cried loud and long. They danced and they shouted, they got it all wrong. But no fire fell, no whisper, no flame, because idols have no power or name. Then Elijah prayed with a heart full of faith.
The Lord is God. The Lord is God. The Lord is God.
The prophets of Baal panicked and tried to flee, but the people of Israel rose with one voice. No one escaped. They were captured, every single one of them. And just like that, the people remembered the truth. The fake god Baal? Just a statue with 0 power. But the real God, the one who answers by fire. And soon, the skies opened. Rain poured down for the first time in 3 years. God had shown his power, his mercy, and his presence.
Next, the story of Job, who lost everything but never lost faith.
Once upon a time in the land of Uz lived a man named Job, a man blameless and upright, one who feared God and turned away from evil. He was wealthy, respected, and had a large family, 7 sons and 3 daughters. He owned thousands of livestock and servants. He had everything a man could ever want. But what happens when all of that is taken away? Not by his enemies, not by bad luck, but by permission from God himself. One day, the heavenly beings came to present themselves before the Lord, and Satan came along with them.
Satan, where have you come from?
From roaming throughout the earth, going back and forth in it.
Have you considered my servant Job? There's no one on earth like him, blameless and upright, a man who fears God and shuns evil.
Does Job fear God for nothing? Haven't you put a hedge around him and his household and everything he has? You've blessed the work of his hands. His flocks and herds spread across the land. But stretch out your hand, take away everything he owns, and he will surely curse you to your face.
And the Lord said,
Very well, everything he has is in your hands, but do not lay a finger on the man himself.
And so, the test began.
He's on fire!
In one day, Job lost everything, his oxen stolen, his sheep burned, his camels raided. Worst of all, a great wind collapsed his eldest son's house. All 10 children gone. One after the other, the messengers came, each with more devastating news. His livestock gone, his servants killed, and worst of all, his children, all 10. Lost in a single moment, in utter grief, Job fell to his knees, tore his robe, and with tears streaming down his face, he mourned. Yet he did not curse God.
Naked I came from my mother's womb, and naked I will depart. The Lord gave, and the Lord has taken away. Blessed be the name of the Lord.
Satan returned to God and said,
Skin for skin. A man will give anything to save his life. Strike his body and he'll curse you.
Very well, he is in your hands, but spare his life.
I've walked through the fire, I've felt the flame. I've wept in silence, called out his name.
Loving the story so far? Don't forget to hit that like button and subscribe for more epic Bible tales. Now, back to the adventure.
There's a truth that outshines it all. My Redeemer lives.
Job sat in the dust, scraping his sores with broken pottery, his body weak, but his spirit clinging to hope. Enter his wife, her face twisted with anger and despair. Voice trembling, she burst out,
Look at you, sitting there, covered in sore, suffering like this. After everything we've lost, everything. Are you still holding on to your faith? Why? What's the point? Just curse God and die.
Her words cut like a knife, heavy with bitterness and sorrow.
Shall we accept good from God and not trouble?
In all this, Job still did not sin in what he said. Job's friends came to comfort him, but instead, they accused him.
You must have sinned. God wouldn't punish the innocent.
Repent, Job. Maybe your children sinned. That's why they died.
You're actually getting far less than you deserve.
For 7 days, they sat in silence, and for 34 more, they spoke, but they did not understand.
Why was I even born? I cry to God, but he doesn't answer, though he slay me. Yet will I trust in him.
When the voices doubt and the winds accuse. When I've got nothing and everything to lose. I stand on the promise, I'll raise my cry. My Redeemer lives, and I testify.
Then, after all the silence, after all the questions, after the tears, the pain, the confusion, the wind began to rise. The sky grew dark. Thunder rolled across the heavens, and from the heart of the storm, God spoke, not with whispers, not with comfort, but with power, with authority, with questions that shook the earth, and reminded Job who truly holds the universe in his hands.
Who is this that darkens counsel with words without knowledge? Where were you when I laid the earth's foundations? Can you command the morning? Can you bind the stars?
I spoke once, but I will not again. My ears had heard of you, but now my eyes have seen you.
Job repented, not because he had sinned, but because he had questioned God's wisdom. And God restored him, double everything he lost.
Dramatic, faith-filled anthem inspired by Job's unwavering trust. When the sky turns dark and I lose my way, when the laughter fades and the night won't break, though the pain cuts deep and the
Job lived 140 more years. He saw his children and their children to the 4th generation.
Yet I will trust him, no matter what. When my world falls apart, when it hurts too much, he gives and he takes, but his love won't stop. Yet I will trust him.
Next, the story of the Tower of Babel, where pride fell and languages rose.
Once upon a time, the world was young again. After the Great Flood, people started spreading out and building new homes. God had told them to go out and fill the whole earth, to explore, grow, and take care of his creation. But not everyone was up for the whole scattering and exploring part. In time, the people found a land so rich, so beautiful, they chose to stay. A valley called Shinar, where rivers flowed, birds sang, and the earth welcomed them. There, they pitched their tents, built homes, and began to raise cities together. Then, an idea sparked among them. Why keep moving, they thought, when they could build something great? A city and a tower, tall enough to touch the heavens.
Hey, what if we all stayed right here? We can build the best city ever.
Even better, let's build a tower so high it touches the heavens. We'll be famous. Everyone will know our name.
Yeah, let's do it.
Now, this wasn't just about building something cool. It was about control. They didn't want to rely on God. They wanted to make their own name great and never be scattered like he said.
Whoa, we're gonna be legends. Wait till the world sees what we built.
Look at what we've built. Soon we won't need help from anyone, not even God himself.
But from above, God saw everything. And he wasn't mad because they were building. He was sad. They had forgotten why they were here. This tower wasn't for unity. It was for pride. And pride? Pride has a funny way of building walls between people.
Loving the story so far? Don't forget to hit that like button and subscribe for more epic Bible tales. Now, back to the adventure.
If they speak the same language and do this, there's no limit to how far their pride might go. Let's help them. Remember, they need me and each other.
God had gently hit the pause button on their pride. Suddenly they spoke in different languages. No one could understand each other anymore. Teamwork, out the window, tower, half finished.
¿Qué dijiste? No te entiendo. ¿Qué estás diciendo?
Wait, what? I said, lift the brick, not bake the fish.
They could no longer understand one another. So they drifted apart. Each tribe, each tongue, finding a new path.
We built our towers high and tall, dreamed of a name to outshine all. We drew our maps, we chased the flame.
And just like that, the people finally did what God had asked from the beginning. They spread out across mountains, deserts, islands, and forests. Different languages, different cultures, but still one human family.
We deny there's no real strength in a name built on pride, no lasting thing in the sky.
The Tower of Babel wasn't just about bricks and height. It was about pride versus purpose. When we try to build without God, we end up confused, divided, and stuck. But when we trust Him, and remember, we're part of something bigger than just our own fame, amazing things happen.
La trailer. Brick. Break.
We carved our promise into the thoughts. We shouted dreams so big, so loud. But hearts grow cold when truth we deny. There's no real strength.
Different languages, same hearts. Different cultures, same Creator. Because what truly brings people together isn't just words. It's love, humility, and purpose.
No lasting name in the sky.
Next, the story of the prodigal son who ran away and found grace.
Hey, Bible explorers! Welcome back to Bible Tales, where stories from Scripture come alive with drama, emotion, and truth. Today, we're diving into one of Jesus' most powerful parables, the prodigal son, a story of rebellion, regret, and a shocking twist of forgiveness. Grab your popcorn, this one's got it all. There once was a wealthy man who had 2 sons. One day, the younger son came with a bold request.
Father, give me my share of the inheritance. Now.
That's like saying, I wish you were dead so I can get your money. Rude, right?
Very well, my son.
It was a heavy moment. The father, heart full of sorrow, placed the inheritance into his younger son's hands. Silver coins carefully wrapped, more than just money, a piece of his heart. The son packed his bags, kissed his home goodbye, and went off to a distant land, unaware of the journey that lay ahead. He partied hard, wine, women, and wild living. He was the man. Until he wasn't. With no food, no friends, and no roof over his head, he took the only job he could find. That was his rock bottom. And sometimes, that's where transformation begins.
Even my father's servants eat better than this. I'll go back home. Maybe he'll hire me as a servant.
He decides to go back home. As he journeys down the long, dusty road, memories and mistakes weigh on every step. The wind brushes past his torn robes, but his mind is somewhere else, replaying the moment he walked away. He rehearses his apology the whole way, but while he was still a long way off, his father saw him.
My son.
I'll walk home, chasing dreams out of the mind. Empty roads, broken hearts, in borrowed time. Lost in the noise, far from your face. I traded your love for a darker place. But even in silence I heard your voice, calling me back, giving me a choice. Welcome home, I've been waiting for you with open arms through the pain you knew.
Wait, don't miss this. In their culture, fathers didn't run. This father ran. That's how much he loved him.
Killed the fear, brought that back home. Grace found me where I roam.
The father didn't hesitate. He looked up and called out, his voice strong, full of joy. Servants rushed in, surprised by the sight, but the father's command was clear and urgent.
Put a ring on his finger, sandals on his feet, and kill the fattened calf. Let's celebrate. My son was lost and now he's found.
While the father celebrated the return of his lost son, the older brother was still out in the fields, working, faithfully, quietly, as he always had. As he walked in from the fields, the sound of music and dancing stopped him in his tracks. He listened, confused at first, then hurt crept in. They were celebrating, and no one had told him why. He felt forgotten, overlooked. Anger rising, he walked angrily toward the house to confront his father.
Father, all these years, I've served you faithfully. I never disobeyed. But you never even threw me a small party, not once. I've served you all these years. You never threw me a party.
Son, you have always been with me. Everything I have is yours, every field, every servant, every blessing. But your brother, he was lost, gone from us as if dead, and now he's come back to life. How could we not rejoice? This isn't just about him, it's about grace, about restoration. One day you'll understand, but for today, come, rejoice with us.
And in that moment, the elder son stood between pride and mercy, wrestling not with his father, but with his own heart. This story hits deep. Let's break down the lessons, because Jesus told this story for you and me.
I'll walk home, chasing dreams out of the mind. Empty roads, broken hearts, in borrowed time. Lost in the noise, far from your face. I traded your love for a darker place.
Next, the story of Solomon, whose wisdom stunned kings.
2 women, 1 baby, 1 big problem. Who's the real mom? Split the baby? What? This is the story of King Solomon's shocking wisdom trick. Two women arguing in front of King Solomon's throne. Each woman claimed the child was hers.
This child is mine. Her baby died in the night.
That's not true. The living child is mine.
King Solomon faced a nearly impossible decision. No witnesses, no DNA test, just two desperate moms. King Solomon suddenly stands up and points towards his palace guards. Then King Solomon gave a shocking order.
Fetch a sword. Let's divide the child in half. Each woman gets a piece.
Shock rippled through the crowd. Could the king truly mean it? The sword was coming, and the baby's fate hung in the balance.
No, give her the baby. Just don't hurt him.
But the other woman didn't care.
Fine, split the baby if that's what it takes.
King Solomon looked at the two women sternly and said,
Stop. That is the real mother. She would rather give up her child than see him die.
The baby was given to the true mother, who held the child close, her face shining with gratitude. The people in the palace were amazed and cheering, while King Solomon, sitting proudly in his throne, smiling. In the end, love spoke louder than lies, and wisdom brought justice to light.
Next, the story of the Good Samaritan, a stranger who redefined love.
A question was asked, one that still echoes through the ages. Who is my neighbor? Let's hear how Jesus answered, with a story that shocked everyone. It was a busy day in the market. People gathered around, drawn to the man called Jesus, his words gentle, yet full of wisdom. Among the crowd stood a lawyer, curious, maybe even testing. He raised his voice, ready with a question that would spark a story no one expected.
Teacher, what must I do to inherit eternal life?
What is written in the law?
Love the Lord your God, and love your neighbor as yourself.
You've answered well. Do this, and you will live.
But the man, wanting to justify himself, pressed further.
And who exactly is my neighbor?
Jesus responded by telling a parable, a teaching story to open hearts and minds. The crowd leaned in, curious. What kind of answer would this rabbi give? What did it truly mean to love one's neighbor? Along the road from Jerusalem to Jericho, the land grew harsh, dusty, jagged, and quiet. Travelers often moved with caution, for danger lurked in the silence. One man walked alone, unaware that shadows watched from behind the rocks. But suddenly, shadows emerged from the rocks. The man cried out, but no one answered. In moments, he was surrounded, stripped of his clothes, his dignity, his strength. They took everything and left him half dead. They took everything and left him half dead. His body lay in the dust, bruised, bleeding, barely breathing. The road was silent except for the wind and his groans. Then in the distance, footsteps. A priest approaches, robes flowing, eyes searching. Surely he'll help. But he slows, he sees, and without a word, he crosses to the other side and keeps walking. Not long after the priest passed, another man appeared, a Levite, a helper in the temple. He slowed his steps, eyes fixed on the injured traveler. He paused, but only for a moment, then hurried away down the path. Then came a Samaritan.
I saw you lying in the dust. No one cared, no one rushed, but something in me wouldn't walk away. Love said stay. I will be that neighbor. Show you love, no one rushed, but something in me wouldn't walk away. Love said stay. I will be that neighbor. Show you love now later. No matter where you're from, your pain is mine to carry on. I won't pass by, I'll kneel and try. I will be that neighbor.
Now here's the twist. Jews and Samaritans didn't get along at all. But this man, he didn't see an enemy. He saw a person in pain.
Hearts can shine like saviors. The road is hard, but I will care, 'cause mercy's meant to share. Yes, I will be the neighbor.
He brought him to an inn, stayed through the night, and cared for his wounds with gentle hands. And as a new day dawned, the Samaritan turned to the innkeeper.
Take care of him. If it costs more, I'll pay you when I return.
Your pain is mine to carry on. I won't pass by, I'll kneel and try.
Every word of the parable hung in the stillness. No accusation, no defense. Jesus looked into the eyes of the lawyer.
Now, which of these three was a neighbor to the man who was attacked?
The one who showed him mercy.
Go and do the same.
The road is hard, but I will care, 'cause mercy's meant to share. Yes, I will be that neighbor.
Though the road from Jerusalem to Jericho looks different today, the story lives on. Even now, in crowded cities and busy streets, people still fall and are still overlooked. Being a neighbor isn't about distance. It's about presence, kindness, mercy, action. Your neighbor could be anyone. The classmate no one talks to. The stranger crying on the bus. The person you think is too different to care about. In the end, it wasn't about who the neighbor was. It was about becoming one. Compassion chose no boundaries, and love took action. So now the question is no longer, who is my neighbor? But will you be one?
Thanks for watching. Tell us in the comments, what Bible story do you want us to do next? Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Join the Adventure Bible Tales Club, where every story has a lesson and every child is a hero.